As I said, as a 20-year-old, I was very naive. They doubted that I would make probation. They were questioning whether I'll go, because you have a 2 years probation period, and within those 2 years the organisation can say, no, we don't think you're going to be a competent police officer, and they'll explain why, and then they can basically say cheerio to you. So my personal growth was really about how to make the connection of policing, the law, applying it, and the penny didn't drop till I had 20 months into the organisation, because I was self-doubting myself and thinking maybe I'm not cut out to be a police officer. But I remember a particular time where I actually got the thumbs up from my colleagues, and it was a time we actually had two families falling out in Meadows, which is where one of the stations I was posted, and a young person was getting in the way of an inspector who was detaining another young person, because two families the fall out, and I grabbed hold of this young person and I arrested him for obstructing a police officer, grabbed hold of his wrist to say, right, you're under arrest, and gave him the caution, and he flicked his wrist and he legged it. And I'm stood there and I'm like going, what do I do now, because he's gone. Now a crowd was gathering at the time, and I'm like going, right, okay, so he's gone, but then foolishly he reappears in the crowd. Am I going to let go and ignore him? So I went straight for him, pulled him out of the crowd, and literally, thankfully, he was the same strength as me, and I was just literally holding on to him on the floor, saying, you're not going anywhere. And he's saying, get off me. And the last thing I knew was some of my colleagues pulling him off, and then basically feeling a lot more that they've got him, I've got him, and he's not going anywhere. Went back to the station, and people said, yeah, she can look after herself, and she looked out for the team. That was my changing point of being accepted. And the growth, and then I grew, and then I went in different environments in policing, and my youth issues role, going into schools, I grew there. My sergeants, my line managers bleeding, they allowed me to explore innovative approaches to policing. So that's some of the, one of my specific stories, because I've got 36 years of different stories to give you. So they're the specific, and I've told you about my neighbourhood policing. That in itself is the growth, to knowing communities do care, and we care as a policing, and it's having that conversation and being realistic and honest with them. And, our own community members, and I'm saying to a person, this is my community. Okay, what you do affects me as well. And I'm talking to him like a mother. Most of it helped, because they changed their ways. A few of them didn't. And unfortunately, those few who didn't end up having gone through the criminal justice system. So yes, and internally as well, I've been a mentor for my colleagues, and seeing them grow and moving from one area or side move. It's just nice. I call myself like the mother figure.